So my name is Heesh. Everyone knows me as Heesh.a on Instagram, and I am a sneakerhead / content creator. I've been collecting shoes for about 9 to 10 years now. I think the most interesting and appealing thing about collecting shoes for me is the chase, to get the shoe. I feel like there's stories, there's memories, there's so many things that it's not just I'm going to buy a shoe, there's so many things that shoe can kind of like remind you of. The first come first serve release that you went to, that you had to kind of like wake up so early for. The memories of someone you could have been with, when you bought that shoe. There's so many things that a shoe can give you. Rather, it's not just a shoe. There's a lot more to it, and I feel like it also, you almost enter like a brotherhood or a sisterhood of like community where you can meet up with like-minded people. It brings people together, events, and yeah, like I just feel like it's a nice way to be able to engage with like-minded people. How many pairs do I have in my collection? I probably stopped counting a long time ago, but if I was to put a rough figure on it, I'd say I'm in the maybe 450. I feel like my first noticeable like Jordan memory, I would say, it was difficult for me because growing up, there was a lot of people that are into basketball and, they really like follow the sport. Whereas me, my sport was football. So I kind of grew up playing football. Like I was football crazy. Like, everyone around me wanted to be like a professional footballer. That was our thing. So it wasn't until quite late that I really got into Jordan brand, just because it was more on a fashion side. So once I kind of like started seeing the shoes, seeing the silhouettes, like, the different colors, the materials, like the beauty of the shoe, that's what kind of triggered me more into researching and learning more about Jordan and getting into, basketball and things like that. I would say my collection is a mixture of, a few vintage and probably a bit more modern, just because I feel like it took a while for me to be able to kind of like afford to keep up with like sneakers and actually like, collect them. So I missed out on a lot of like older pairs, like more vintage pairs. So I feel like now it's based on a lot of modern pairs with a few kind of key more vintage older pairs. But I feel like that's my goal for 2023, to just kind of add pairs that I missed out on in the past, that I wasn't able to get in the past, releases that came out, many years ago. So that's really what I'm trying to focus on this year. So a few of the modern pairs that I have that I picked up quite recently are the Travis Scott Low Black Phantom, great pair. I'd say the Amamanier Jordan 4s, another amazing pair and arguably shoe of the year from 2022. Another great pair, the Lost and Found Jordan 1 Chicagos. That's another shoe that probably, in my opinion, takes #1 spot for shoe of the year last year. The main models that I have in my collection is obviously Jordan 1s. That's probably my most favorite model that I have. I would say that I also, as of late, have been starting to collect Jordan 4s. I have the occasional like 3s or 6s that are like collaborations, but mainly 1s and 4s are like my thing that I like. I think it's the amount of time that I spend trying to add these new additions to my collection is, I'd say it's more streamlined now, because as everyone knows, there's so many releases that are releasing now. It's every month there could be at least 4 or 5 pairs that you want, so it's almost impossible to keep up with everything now. So I feel like, again, I'm being a bit more selective now and spending more time looking for those those pairs, like breads and a few older Chicagos and things that I'm really looking to add to the collection. So I'm spending more time looking for those more rare pieces, rather than focusing all of my time and energy just getting the new releases. But I'm still getting the new releases. I'd say the furthest that I travelled for a pair of Jordans would be Liverpool. I was after the Jordan 1 reverse shattered backboards. This was around 2017, 2018, give or take. and these shattered backboards they'd released in 2016. Now, I found a seller online that was, I was searching everywhere for it, trying to find a good price, and there was a difficult pair to find in general in my size, brand new dead stock. So I found a seller online. We managed to agree a price, and I jumped on the train. I tried to convince him to come to London, but he wasn't having it. But I was like, fine, I'm not going to let these get out of my hands. So jumped on a train to Liverpool. And yeah, that's probably the furthest that I travelled for, Jordan 1s, reverse shattered backboards. I think times have changed now. Things are a lot different now in terms of, how sneaker drops and sneaker releases work. I think I've got some pairs where I've spent a lot of time camping outside of stores when it used to be, first come, first serve, used to be the thing where, you can just turn up. If you're there early enough, you're almost guaranteed your pair. I think, those kind of releases, naturally, because the demand for the shoes is so crazy, but there isn't that many to get. I feel like they just got a little bit too manic and difficult to manage. So now it's like everything's gone a bit more digital, like online, so it becomes, raffles and things like that. So, there's a lot of websites that I check regularly, and I've got, notifications on that tells you, a breakdown of all of the different websites that are doing the raffles and all the different brands and companies that are doing raffles for it. And I think it just comes down to your luck, whenever there's a raffle, I literally get everyone that I know to enter. I've got a little WhatsApp group that I've got like my family, my close friends and everything like that. And then whenever there's a release that I'm really after, I'll send the link into them and I say, listen, everyone go nuts. And I feel like if I was to choose one shoe that I was probably the most fortunate at winning in a raffle, it'd probably be the Jordan 1 Off-White Chicagos. That is like, still blows my mind to this day that I was able to win that in a raffle for the retail price. And it was so random, this company just put up a link where you could reserve a spot, to come in and buy the shoe. And it's like, part of me was like, okay, this must not be right. It's like something a bit fishy going on here. But nevertheless, like I quickly signed up. The sign-ups were over in about 2 minutes. So literally, either you was there at the time to sign up or you wasn't. And then the next day was to come into the store to pick up the shoe. So, even when it was a day to pick up the shoe, I still went there a bit hesitant, like are you sure? Like this is actually happening? Because there was like 10 different silhouettes that was releasing. So the Nike Off-White, the 10. So you didn't actually know which one you would get when you go there. So it's like you could have, if you get there and like all of the Jordan 1s have sold out, you may get the Vapor Maxes or you may get the Prestos or you may get something else. So when I went there, my number one focus was the Jordan 1s and I managed to get them. So yeah, that's probably my best pickup on a raffle and like probably one that I'm most thankful for. A lot of people would probably say, oh, well, you don't think the Dior 1s are your favorite or, but for me is the Jordan 1 UNC. For me, blue is my favorite colorway, and anything that Jordan drops in a UNC colorway, like I'm after it, like I'm hunting it down. So I definitely say the Jordan 1 UNC is my favorite pair that I have. What is my grail Jordan pair? If I say it, you're gonna buy it for me? It'd be nice. I'd say my grail Jordan pair would probably be the Jordan 4 Undefeated. I think that shoe is beautiful. The olive green, the orange, the rarity of the shoe, and at the time Undefeated were the first sneaker boutique to collaborate with brand Jordan. So it's such a limited shoe. It's almost like the unicorn in the Jordan world. And I'd say if anyone's out there that wants to get me that pair, Undefeated 4s. I would say that I purchased my first pair of Jordans before really knowing much about Micheal Jordan and the history of Jordan brand. Of course, everybody knows Micheal Jordan. They know his history. They know his incredible achievements, what he's done for the culture, what he's done on and off the court. But like I said, for me, growing up, I was a football person. So it took me a while to kind of like start actually learning the history behind, his achievements, what he's done, and, some of the pairs that he releases, the inspiration behind them. So I'd say I bought I bought my first Jordans before learning that, and then I found myself now, even now, you know, we're all still learning every single day about things. I don't know everything, but I still try to make some time to like learn the history behind shoes rather than just, you know, purchase a shoe. I like to know the inspiration behind it, you know, where it came from and things like that. So I'd say I'm still learning a lot. I think the impact that Jordans have had on the sneaker culture is bringing people together that ain't necessarily big fans of, you know, basketball. I would say me being one of them. You know, I've always been into football, but, you know, Jordans has now made me collecting Jordans. I'm now watching basketball games. I'm now, you know, researching things about basketball and Micheal Jordan's history and things like that. So I feel like something that's so amazing about it is that you don't need to be a huge basketball fan to be into Jordans. You know, there's so many people who are, you know, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, just now learning about it. You don't need to have all the knowledge in the world, but it literally brings people together. And you've got people who are, you know, basketball fans and big Micheal Jordan fans. You've got people who just like love the silhouette and love, you know, the colors and the materials and you know, how they look. So I feel like it literally is just one big mashup of people coming together. And, you know, Jordans are probably, whenever you talk about sneakers, the first, you know, brand that comes into your head is Jordans. Oh, have you got any Jordans? Like, what Jordans do you have? And, you know, I love that that's like the main starting talking point when it comes to sneakers.